Well, good evening and welcome to another edition of the Bermuda Referee Corner right here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and joining me this evening, I will have two officials, maybe more, but two officials are here with me. I have with me none other than Lloyd Christopher, no stranger to the sport of football. Lloyd, a former player with the Dendy Town Hornets in their heyday, and now still involved in football officiating. Lloyd, first of all, welcome to Referee's Corner. You talking earlier, you said you've been officiating senior football for about 3 years.
3 years now, yeah.
Take us through what that process has been like for you, because you started out coaching, refereeing youth football, and then now you're with the senior. So what's that 3-year process been like?
It's been very interesting, and it's been a learning experience from the outset. When I was doing the youth, refereeing the youth games, it was a lot, I wouldn't say easier, but it was different because I can control the players more to some extent than the senior players. Right. The senior players, they quote unquote know more about the game than the youth players. So with regards to the youth players, if a call is made, I can say to the youth player, this is why I made the call, and they say, okay, ref. They might be a little bit upset, but they say, okay, ref, then you made the call, then let's get on with it. Right. Whereas in the senior games, a lot of the times I get challenged more on quite a few of the calls that I make.
Is that a case of that's what they're used to doing to see if they can get away with it, as opposed to ref, you got it wrong?
I think it's a combination of the two, and also the other part that you might have missed out is emotion.
Yes,
because players do things out of emotion. Because I had a game yesterday where there was an infringement, and I awarded the player a yellow card, and the player said, "Ref, why you give me a yellow card?" But then after the game, he came up to me and said, "Yeah, ref, I got a little bit too emotional. Sorry about that, ref. I apologize for that." So I thought that was a good taste in it, but a lot of it is emotion.
Right. Now, football has changed somewhat. Not the game, but the style of game. When you were playing with Dendy Town, you guys try to play some attractive football, move the ball around a lot quicker than most teams, very successful in what you were doing. How much of that, now that you're on the outside looking in, have you seen Dendy Town style change to make them what they are today? Because they're a bit of up and down. And the fact that you're able to officiate, you get to see the difference in the two, don't you?
Yeah, I do. But a lot of it has to do, I would say, with fitness and also with regards to the first touch. Back in the day, that's what was drilled in us, just to have a good first touch, and also know where the second pass is going to be. Whereas now, I think a lot of guys, they anticipate what they want to do next without knowing what it is that they have to do now before they can get to the next.
What are some of the things as an official you hope to accomplish? Because everybody has aspirations of doing something within whatever they're trying to do. You know,
my aspiration is just giving back. So I'm at the age now where most persons who would have been in this field would have been retiring at this age. But I am enjoying what I'm doing, and it's giving me the ability to remain fit and also to be still involved in football. Like you said, I came up with playing for Dendy Town with the youth explosion, and I've just been involved since then. So this right here is still giving me an aspect where I can still be a part of the game, because I also started off coaching youth teams.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I started doing that, so getting involved with still in football, but with coaching. I did that, so now I'm on the other side, on the refereeing side.
How difficult is that? Refereeing side, being a player, a coach, and now an official, you've done all three aspects. How difficult is it knowing what you were like as a player, knowing what you was like as a coach now? Because sometimes, I mean, even though, like you say, yesterday we're a player, the emotion takes over. So sometimes you might say things or question things emotionally as opposed to, hey, let me take a step back and think about this. And now you're on the side of, I'm making the call, the best call I think that for the infringement that's being taking place.
Well, with the that's a good question. But being on the refereeing side, I think an advantage for me was that I have come up playing the game
Hmm.
and also coaching the game.
Right.
Even though when I was playing the game, I may not have known all the laws of the game as I do now.
Right.
But knowing the laws of the game now, I can relate to how I used to play with regards to maintaining those laws and sticking to those laws when I was playing. So I'm using my playing experience as part of the refereeing.
How I heard you say you wanted to give back, and that was that the main reason for getting involved in officiating?
No, that was not the main reason why I got involved in officiating. It all started when I was actually coaching,
Right.
because when I was coaching youth teams, actually my daughter's team, um, they may not have been an official referee that showed up, so the coaches would have to do it.
Hmm.
So I said, okay, well, I'll go in the middle and I would coach her game. And then after that, the team that played after me, if I stayed to that game, I would say, okay, well, I will stay in the middle and referee your game.
Hmm.
And it just transcended from there.
Something you started to enjoy.
Yeah, something that I started to enjoy, and I was getting the comments back that I was doing a pretty good job in the middle.
Right. Right. What is one of the most memorable matches you had as an official thus far?
The most-
Because there's always one that sticks out, rather be good, bad, or indifferent. It's always one match that you look back and say, man.
well, my most memorable match, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I feel that I refereed the game to the laws of the game. Was the first game this season,
Oh.
when I had the game between
Island Rangers and
Island Rangers and
Rangers, and so that's the Rangers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot was said about that match. What was it? 3 sending off?
Yeah, it was three sending offs,
Right.
and they all for the same team, and they all late in the second half.
Right, right. But well, that obviously will stick in your memory for a long time, only because it's one of those things that, in regards to the match, had to be done because the incidents or infringements warranted cards to be distributed.
Correct.
And unfortunately for some, there was a second bookable event.
Correct.
So,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming on the Referee's Corner. I do have another guest to come on. So, Lloyd, thank you very much, and keep up the good work as far as officiating in Bermuda, referee for the Bermuda Football Association.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here.
Yes,
Thanks a
indeed.
lot.
Well, there you have it from Lloyd Christopher, one of the referees that has been involved in senior officiating for up to 3 years. Is obviously looking forward to doing more. He talked about that memorable opening match as one of his highlights, but overall, he started out with youth, now into the seniors. Joining me now is Mr. Dwight Jackson. Dwight, welcome to Referee's Corner here on Island Stats. This is year 2 for you or year 3?
Year 2.
Year 2. What has been the difference from year 1 to year 2 for you?
I can actually say that it's not a matter of being more confident, but a matter of being more knowledgeable.
You
So
yourself?
Me myself.
Yes.
So, like, I pride myself on being a very confident person,
Right.
but doing something that's in this particular capacity, you also have to have buy-in from the people that you're adjudicating over.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't trust you, then it may make things a little more difficult. So there's been some buy-in over the past year. During the interim, I've made myself known. I've tried to keep my officiating at a high standard with my knowledge. And so from last year to this year, you just feel like you have more tools in your belt to deal with certain situations, seeing around corners perhaps, and so on and so on.
Does that confidence allow you to be in the middle as opposed to on the line sometimes?
I'm a middle type guy. I enjoy being in charge. I enjoy being in charge.
Right.
I don't have a problem running the line, but I enjoy being in charge.
Do you remember the first game you done in the middle?
Yeah. Whether it was PDL or where I found, like, well, you gave me a middle for a first division game in my first year, and I remember I said, yeah, let me just knock this out of the park and do the best I could do.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt good. I felt like I could handle it. I felt like I had good command, and the respect was there, and I really enjoyed and appreciated the opportunity.
The fact that you have a educated background helps with problem solving. When I say problem solving, managing emotions and managing situations. Does that give you a sense of confidence going into a match, even if you know there could be some friction between the two teams?
Oh, absolutely. I think that also, let me add to that, is that the demographic that's on the field now, age-wise, is some of my former students. And also, since I am in and around the school system, and my children are just like, the fridge of coming out, then the younger demographic, they know me as Mr. Jackson.
Right.
So I mean, it just makes life a lot easier. So I'll just chalk it down to just having more tools in my belt, and because you want to live a certain lifestyle, and they see you in the public's eye, so they just know what they're getting once they cross the line.
What would you consider to be one of your biggest challenges as far as officiating in Bermuda? Let me tell you what mine would be.
Okay.
Time management of some of these teams.
Okay.
Being prepared to start on time.
Correct. Perhaps I take all of that with a grain of salt, because, and maybe this is my newbieism coming into this profession or whatever. This is what I'm just used to. So I don't look at it as a challenge. Perhaps, yes, somebody else looking in through the fishbowl would say, this needs to be tidied up, that needs to be tidied up.
Right.
But because I'm in it, and because, like, I've been around football all my life or whatever, this is Bermuda. And yeah, time management is a big part, and that's officials, and that's right down to players too.
Well, I look at it, the fact that some officials are bouncing 2 games a day.
Correct.
Especially on a Sunday.
Correct.
If the initial game that you're doing is at one location and the other game is at another location, if that first one doesn't start on time,
now that's something different.
Yeah. So
yeah. But I tell you what, now that you got me thinking, challenges, I would say having the perhaps a fuller complement of officials to referee, adjudicate whatever games or whatever on that particular day, so you don't have to be pulled to rush from one field to another. But this is a job where you need to have broad shoulders and thick skin. Yeah,
without a doubt. I mean, we've all heard some of the comments from on the field, off the field. People get personal. People get, and Lloyd said it earlier. It's emotion. Wanting to see your team do well, and the one person that you could blame, or the one team you could blame, is the team officiating. Whether if my team's losing today, then I target those three people as the result of my loss, not the fact that
I got you.
I haven't,
Right.
my team hasn't done well.
But you know that with all of that being said, and then perhaps this is my naivety of being new.
Mhm.
I take all of that uh, as a grain of salt, and that real right off.
Right.
Two, I kind of look at that in the context of this is what football brings.
Yes.
When I travel to the UK and I listen to the crowd in the EPL stands and all that
Mhm.
stuff. If you can imagine the whole crowd singing and the talking about you, or they're
Yes.
talking about the ref, they're talking about the player, or whatever. I
Right.
couldn't imagine having to listen to that for 90 minutes.
Right.
And it's derogatory.
Yeah. Yeah.
So perhaps we got off easy here because it's always worse somewhere else.
Mm.
But I find that in the context of football, this is what happens. But what I've learned, once that whistle blows and you cross that line, hey guys, pat you on your back. Ref is trying to get in your ear. You had a good game. Let me see at the bar by your bear. Yada yada yada. So I mean, they're out to do a job.
Mhm.
You have to do a job. You have to remain professional, and you build collateral in the field of professionalism.
You mentioned you would like to see a full complement of referee and referee assistants. How would you go about doing that to fulfill that? Because it's been so many things have been tried.
Yes. Well, let me just give credence and credit to our chairman. Cranston Williams is doing a phenomenal job in his efforts to recruit, and what he's doing is trying to get youngsters to come up through the ranks or whatever to see if this is something that they can stick with, and then the carrot that's dangled at the end is that you can be on the FIFA list and a whole new world can be opened up.
Mhm.
So to that end, I applaud him for that. On the other spectrum, I mean, for me, the reason why I've done this, because you haven't asked me that.
I'm getting to that, brother. I'm getting to that.
The reason why I do this is because, like, I'm a solutionist.
Mhm.
So if there's a problem and there is an issue and there is someone that was saying, but we need more officials,
Mhm.
and instead of me pointing the finger and being a fan and being on the sideline and saying, "Raf, you don't know what you're doing,"
Right. You get yourself involved.
there you go.
Yeah. Solutionist.
So, with that being said, hey, clubs, they have to do what they can, I think, to get their fan base and perhaps their executive and whomever else to come out and support football, because without the officials,
There's no official.
without
game.
the officials, then football will die or dwindle and so on, and there will not be no games.
Mm.
So
Mm. Because you stole my thunder, but
I apologize.
no problem. How many of your friends have you convinced to join in or approach to join in and become part of the ranks, but for whatever reason they've declined?
None. This is not a job for the faint of heart.
Mhm.
No one likes to be criticized.
Right.
No one likes to be called out. No one likes to be put on the spot and have the spotlight on them in that particular sense.
Mhm.
So I have many friends, lots of acquaintances,
Yes.
lots of people who say they know me, and I have not been able to, even before I even approach. Jackson, you can have that. I give you props for that, mate. And I understand.
Mhm.
I understand. And like I said earlier, this is a job for someone that needs to have thick skin and broad shoulders.
Well, Dwight, thank you very much for joining the ranks of the Bermuda Football Association. Don't ever think that the work you do goes unnoticed,
I
because
appreciate it.
it does go with a lot of respect, because as you said, it takes a lot for someone to put their hand up and say, instead of me standing on the sideline criticizing, I'm going to go out and assist in any way I can. And it's gotten you to officiate in Premier Division games, First Division games, PDL games,
Yes.
youth games. So the number that we had prior to you joining got one more.
Sure.
And that one person makes a huge difference to whatever the association's attempting to do.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
I appreciate you.
Cool. Well, folks, there you have it. Referee's Corner here on IslandStats.com. I want to thank Lloyd Christopher and Mr. Dwight Jackson for their time here this evening. Hopefully you've been enlightened and possibly inspired to grab a flag, grab a whistle, help out wherever you can, your young person's game or family member's game on a Saturday, and get involved with the referees here. One more question, Dwight. What nights does the officials train in preparation for matches?
We train twice a week, which is being mandated by FIFA, which would be Mondays and Wednesdays at 6. And normally, just to be more specific, Mondays is a recovery training session from obviously our weekend matches. And that's really good fitness. And then Wednesday is more, perhaps will be more intense. And then it will also be some theory work. And that would also encompass like an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, folks. There you have it. Have a good night from the Referee's Corner.